Public announcement. Information Warfare Magazine. Good evening. This is a special public announcement from Information Warfare Magazine. Tonight, we address a rising political and philosophical movement that is quietly shaping global discourse, the Dark Enlightenment. It's a concept that is gaining traction among tech elites, intellectuals, and right-wing political factions. But what exactly is the Dark Enlightenment? How does it work? Who are the key players? And what does it mean for our future? Let's break it down. What is the Dark Enlightenment? At its core, the Dark Enlightenment is a radical philosophical and political movement that critiques modern democracy, liberalism, and egalitarianism. It's also known as the neo-reactionary, NRX, movement. Advocates of the Dark Enlightenment believe that the Enlightenment ideals, such as democracy, equality, and human rights, have failed and led to societal decay. They argue for a return to traditional hierarchical structures, such as monarchy, technocratic rule, or even corporate governance. Central to this philosophy is a rejection of modern democratic governance, viewing it as inefficient and prone to corruption. Instead, Dark Enlightenment thinkers advocate for a top-down approach, where a small elite of technocrats, billionaires, and intellectuals hold the power, often supported by AI-driven policies, surveillance, and authoritarian control. In this new world order, the masses have little say, and decision-making power is consolidated in the hands of the most powerful and wealthy. Key players of the Dark Enlightenment. Who are the key figures behind this movement? First, there's Curtis Yarvin, a software engineer and political theorist who writes under the pseudonym Mencius Moldbug. Yarvin is considered one of the primary architects of the NRX ideology, advocating for a return to monarchy and authoritarianism, arguing that democracy is a failed system. Another influential figure is Nick Land, a British philosopher who coined the term Dark Enlightenment. Land's philosophy merges libertarianism, accelerationism, and technocratic authoritarianism, making him a key thinker in this movement. Other major players include Peter Thiel, a Silicon Valley billionaire known for his skepticism toward democracy and his desire to consolidate power among tech elites. His influence has been felt in both the tech industry and in political circles, backing candidates like J.D. Vance and Blake Masters, who are aligned with Dark Enlightenment ideals. How the Dark Enlightenment works. Now you might wonder, how does this movement work, and how is it influencing our society? At its heart, the Dark Enlightenment is about replacing democratic systems with a more authoritarian, efficient, and streamlined government. Proponents argue that, in a world where technology is rapidly advancing, society should be governed by techno-monarchs, experts and elites who can manage resources, make decisions, and steer society toward growth and stability. Central to this vision is the concept of the Cathedral, a term coined by Yarvin. The Cathedral refers to the perceived network of academia, media, and government that promote progressive ideologies and suppress alternative viewpoints. According to NRX thinkers, these institutions create a false consensus about how society should function, and this elite structure needs to be dismantled to make way for a more efficient authoritarian system. Those advocating for the Dark Enlightenment believe that these elites can rule society more effectively than democratically elected officials. They promote ideas like universal basic income, UBI, as a means to placate the public, while AI and surveillance are implemented to maintain social order. What can we do? So, what can we do about this growing movement? The first step is to understand it. Knowledge is power, and it's crucial that we, as citizens, remain vigilant and engaged in shaping our future. The rise of techno-authoritarianism poses a serious challenge to democracy, and we must push for transparency, accountability, and freedom in every sector, whether it's technology, government, or corporate entities. Second, we must educate others about the dangers of unaccountable elite control. The Dark Enlightenment movement seeks to undermine democratic values in favor of a future where power is concentrated in the hands of the few. By raising awareness, you can play a role in countering these trends. Lastly, we need to embrace intellectual enlightenment, advocating for policies that foster collaboration, equity, and technology for the greater good. As the future unfolds, human empowerment, decentralization, and open-source technology will be our best defense against the rise of an authoritarian regime. Closing statement. The rise of the Dark Enlightenment is not just a philosophical curiosity. It's a real-world challenge to our democratic institutions and way of life. But it's not too late to take action. Let us be the generation that defends democracy and champions a future based on freedom, equality, and human flourishing. The battle for our future is in our hands. For more news like this, visit news.information-warfare.com. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, we shape the world with our choices. This has been a special report from Information Warfare magazine.